You're listening to Daily Horoscope for your zodiac sign with Stephanie Campos. I'm your host, Stephanie Campos, and I am a practicing astrologer, psychic medium, and witch. In each daily episode, I covered a detailed overview of the astrology of the day and what you can expect from full moons to Mercury retrogrades. I've got you covered. And of course, there is always a personalized horoscope for your zodiac sign. If you scroll down in the show notes, there are always timestamps included for your convenience. And a quick pro tip before we dive in, I do recommend listening to your horoscope based on your rising sign for more accuracy. And if you are loving this podcast, don't be shy, leave a rating. Hell, even a review. I'm a one human show and produce each and every episode every day just for you. And your support means so much. Now let's get into the astrology of the day. This is your daily horoscope for Friday, January 16th, 2026. All times are Pacific Standard Time. The action starts out around 3 a.m. when the moon in Sagittarius forms a square with Neptune in Pisces. This is going to either have you feeling extra tired and sleepy, or it's harder to focus, or you might have trouble sleeping. Maybe you're having an overactive mind, or there is something emotional that is keeping you up. But in general, there is this element of fog and confusion, and it's easy to kind of let our insecurities and projections run the show. So if you can avoid making important decisions around this time, it is recommended because we're just not seeing the picture clearly for what it is. So whether you are awake at this time and dealing with a situation that leaves you feeling uncertain, or if you're asleep and you're trying to sleep and you have just a lot of different thoughts running through your head, try to be gentle with yourself. This is a time to drink extra water, focus on grounding exercises, visualize a cord running from your sit bones or the bottom of your feet deep into the earth. And once you bring your awareness and visualize that cord entering the center of the earth, trust that you are grounded. That is a simple practice that I do every single freaking morning and anytime that I start to feel untethered. Now, around 4 a.m., the moon enters Capricorn, and for the rest of the day, the moon will be void in Capricorn, which means it's traveling aimlessly through the sky. It's not making any important connections with other planets until the following day at 5 p.m. So it's just kind of going to be a moment where we feel like it's harder to focus, or we feel aimless, or it's harder to get things done. When the moon is in Capricorn, we already have this extra pressure to be responsible, to produce, to be productive. And so it's going to be an extra important time to take care of yourself, to do the opposite, to nurture yourself, to give yourself a pass, to remember that the productive energy will come again later in the week, and to just be gentle with yourself and others if and when you can. Aries, when the moon is in Capricorn, it brings attention to your professional and public life. Maybe you're busy at work, or maybe you're showing up more authentically and vulnerably in an important relationship, or even on the internet. This is also a moment to celebrate yourself, and maybe you're making some progress on an important goal. Taurus, when the moon moves through Capricorn, this brings attention to the communication sector of your chart. So maybe there's some important conversations going on, or information that you learned today shifts your perspective in some way. This could also be a moment where you're busy learning something that you really adore. Or maybe you're even traveling. This is also a powerful day to connect with your voice and to stand up for what you believe. Gemini, when the moon moves through Capricorn, this can put you in a more tender and private mood. You might be reflecting on some of your deeper and darker feelings that you've neglected, and this can be a great time to focus on healing work and acceptance, surrendering, and forgiving either yourself or other people if that feels aligned and healthy for you. Practically, this can also bring your attention to your finances and have you focused on paying down some debt. Cancer, when the moon moves through Capricorn, this brings attention to the important one-on-one relationships in your life. Maybe you're spending more time with a lover or a roommate, or maybe there's someone in your life who requires more emotional support from you today. This could also be a busy time to work on client work or contract work as well. Leo, when the moon moves through Capricorn, this is an important time for you to focus on your daily routine and your habits. There might be some things that you're able to get done today, but since the moon is void, it's also possible that you just feel a little overwhelmed or maybe more exhausted than normal. So you may need to carve out time for rest, even if it feels counterintuitive. Virgo, when the moon moves through Capricorn, this is an important time for you to check in with your inner child and your inner teen. What hobbies and activities can you do to support your overall emotional well-being? This can also be a moment where you're focused on your dating life or a creative project as well. Libra, when the moon moves through Capricorn, it brings attention to your private world and your relationship with family, ancestry. Maybe there's some sort of memory that resurfaces, or you're feeling more private and tender and sentimental. This can also be a time where you're focused on your living situation. Maybe you're reorganizing your living room, doing a purge, or spending time with loved ones. Scorpio, when the moon moves through Capricorn, this connects you with your voice and your mind. This can be an important time for you to form new ideas and to share your ideas and thoughts freely. You could also be negotiating new contracts, or new important news arrives that you've been waiting for. You may also be spending time with siblings or family members as well. Sagittarius, when the moon moves through Capricorn, it brings attention to your finances. This can be an important day for you to pay attention to what you're spending, and also to get back on track with a budget, to get some work done, or maybe you're applying for jobs or negotiating a new contract. This can also be a very powerful day to act in alignment with your values and beliefs. Capricorn, when the moon moves through your sign, you might be feeling just a little bit more tender and sensitive. Maybe you learn some news that affects you in a personal way, or maybe you're just busy focusing on yourself and your personal goals. This can also be a lovely time to experiment with the way you show up in the world and to focus on embodying a more authentic version of yourself. Aquarius, when the moon moves through Capricorn, it brings attention to a very private and sacred part of your chart, and an area of your chart that has to do with your subconscious, solitude, and closing out cycles. You're also more aware of patterns and behaviors that you know you've got to break, and this can be an important moment to realize what you're ready to move on from. Your intuition is also incredibly active, so pay attention to the signs and symbols that come through. Pisces, when the moon moves through Capricorn, it brings attention to your relationship with friends and community. Maybe you're spending time with friends, or you're nurturing a new connection. This is also a productive time to focus on your goals, your aspirations, and to make progress on bringing your dreams to life. As always, I hope your daily horoscope has offered some guidance and support throughout your day. And if you can't get enough of this podcast and want more horoscopes, I invite you to join me over on Patreon, where every Sunday you gain instant access to 7 episodes of your daily horoscope for the week ahead, a weekly psychic reading, a monthly tarot spread, and a monthly meetup, which ranges from group tarot readings to group mediumship readings and circles, to ask me anything about your personal birth chart. These group monthly meetups have been a real highlight over the past few months, and I am enjoying them so much. There is a link in the show notes to join. It is only $10 a month, and I hope to see you there. As always, I'm sending you love, protection, and blessings in every single dimension. Thanks so much, and see you tomorrow.